The Honorable Member for Shuangando.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this report from our delegation which went to Sadiq Park plenary session is very important. And I think as we debate, we must not veer off and start lamenting on matters that are not contained. And to be sure, I'll cite some extracts of the report. Mr. Speaker, the objectives of the 25th Plenary Assembly session sought inter alia, take stock of the legislative frameworks for disaster risk reduction and preparedness planning, deliberate on the role of parliaments in ensuring that disaster risk reduction and preparedness planning within SADC countries, including by domesticating the popularly known as Sendai framework. Mr. Speaker, further, there was a clarion call which the Speaker of the Assembly acknowledged. He acknowledged the critical role that parliamentarians played in addressing the growing challenges posed by natural disasters and climate change in the SADC region, including cyclones, droughts, and floods. And they were making a clarion call to those that are registrators who have got the duty to not only enact laws and shape public policies, but also to allocate resources judiciously to the issues of climate change. This is a clarion call that is being made on us as legislators, Mr. Speaker. I was privileged to attend this Sendai framework when it was being coined in the Sendai seat of Japan as Deputy Minister under the Vice President's office, because this is where it is supposed to be implemented. The requirements of this framework, Mr. Speaker, are that we must work in advance, prepare for these disasters before they occur, to ensure that we have got instruments to forewarn both governments and sectors that make contributions to the economic growth of any country. And this one doesn't require even a blame game, and we shouldn't pass the buck. We as legislators are being asked, what have we done in order to operationalize this, domesticate this Sendai framework through the legal frameworks in this country? If we had done something, Mr. Speaker, today our farmers wouldn't be crying and dying of stress because of failure of their crop. We should have known in advance what was going to happen. So these are critical matters that we require to reflect on. And we can't be leaving this to either the president, the vice president. The clarion call is on us legislators to do our part. And in doing our part, we must together understand what needs to be done. How much resources do we need to put into the early warning systems so that before the calamity occurs, the systems are triggered. And that requires a multi-sectoral approach. So here, when we are advising government to make sure that they have got apparatus and they disseminate information, correct information to our farmers so that our farmers do not incur losses by cultivating their farms, and yet there's no guaranteed rainfall. Here we had the report from the Committee on Agriculture, which pointed to straightforward issues. Distribution of farming inputs without taking into account the agroecological regions. to understand the patterns of weather of our country and distribute inputs like that. I would love the minister to have been here. We were questioning him when he was making announcements of how he was distributing inputs. Why? Because we were aware of these challenges. When he was making announcements that he had reduced the inputs from 200,000 plus on Copper Belt to about 95,000 packs, we asked what informed his decisions. It's on record. So these are things that we are not supposed to even be politicking about. The issue of food security is a concern to all of us here. When our people are starving, when our people are not having food, there's no member of parliament here who will be safe, Mr. Speaker. It affects everyone. And we all know what we're talking about. Because if we are food secure, you don't expect to have the prices hitting the roof and beyond reach of our main citizens. When we are food secure, there will be abundant food for everyone. Our people won't be demonizing themselves. We won't be, get subjected to shame because you have to put food on the table. You have to start buying minimum in sachets. That comes from food insecurity, Mr. Speaker. And so we need to invest where it matters most. You're one of the vice president. Trigger your systems so that this entire framework can be domesticated. We don't want to lag behind. The whole essence of us going to sit as SADC region under this platform of SADC Park is to share ideas, because when there's hunger here in Zambia, we will be looking for food either from the neighboring Zimbabwe or Tanzania. Just as the pressure we have had, which has now stressed the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. SADC region, when the food SADC is insecure, it affects everyone. We are now have to get GMO meal on behalf of Congo against our own laws. Why? Because the food security affects the whole region. And these are things we should not take pride in. So, Honorable Minister, don't become emotional. What concerns you concerns us. When we say, how much food stocks do we have in our reserves? It's because we know if we don't preserve what we have, we are going to have a challenge and our people will be in problems. And this is what is happening. So you don't have to be reactive. Listen to us when we're advising you. That yes, you're under pressure to give Congo and help them, but first look after your people. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member.